Hi Pisces, welcome to your general reading for April the 18th to the 24th. I've already been shuffling these up, but there's such a pig to shuffle. You have to kind of do it like that because they're so thick. So this is a general reading. On my channel there's only about 20 views on the Pisces one, so I think I am actually reading to a very few of you, which is nice. Do check out the channel, do check out the other readings. Sun, Moon, Rising. I'm fortunate I'm Libra, but I appreciate some people could be Pisces, Gemini and Scorpio, so do check out those other reads. I try and get something out every Sunday. So far so good. I do appreciate you guys being here. You're at the start of something very early. I've just started using this deck again since the new year. It's quite a tricky deck to work with, which is why sometimes I have to pause and think about it, because I'm kind of translating it into Rider-Waite and back out again. But let's just jump in, see where we get to. So Pisces, what's your week going to look like next week? Let's start off with the Ace of Wands. That's always a good start. And then crossing that, we've got Temperance. Nice. Near past. Action, movement, leading by example. Generational stability, solid foundations, happy days for the near future. Subconscious, Knight of Swords, and jumping in with both feet, clarity, action, truth, cutting through the nonsense. And Clock and Dare has come up loads and loads of times in these readings. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. Energy on the bottom, Empress, love it. Empress is good if, not everything's going to resonate. I mean, I know there's only 20 of you coming to see the site, but not every Piscean is going to be in the same boat. But there's two things about this card. One, it's sensuality and abundance and all the fantastic positives that the feminine sort of energy has. Lush, abundance, what's the word I'm looking for? This sort of calm, gentle strength. There you go. If every leader in the world was female, we wouldn't go to war. They'd just talk it out. It's that kind of let's not do this. But anyway, there's two things. One is it's all that beautiful feminine energy that we can all learn from and be inspired by. The other thing is, if you're trying to get pregnant, this is a really good sign. If you're not trying to get pregnant, then take the necessary, because it's an abundant old card, this one. In the background of this has actually got that spot varnish is oxytocin, the molecule for oxytocin, the love hormone. So yeah, love, not lust, love at the moment. So next week, I mean, it's looking really strong, with the exception of the Seven of Swords up at the top there. I don't like to see that card at all. That's a card of deception, deceit, cloak and dagger. There's a big sword hanging over the rat, the traitor. So what I would say to you, Pisces, is, are you hearing this stuff and not doing anything about it, or are you actually doing this stuff? In which case, shame on you. I don't think it's you, because I think you're better than that. But just be really, really careful of that energy there. And again, crossing you here, you've got Temperance, which is all about, yin and yang, mercy, finding the balance between the two. The one thing that tarot really drives home, well, there's two things. It's cyclical, and it's finding the balance, so yeah, I would temper that. There may be a need to do this cloak and dagger stuff. Maybe you're trying to find out something about someone, but I'd just be careful of who you hurt and why you're doing what you're doing, if that is you. The other thing is, it could be warning you that someone is trying to do that to you. Good luck getting that past Pisces, that's what I say. So down here you've got the Knight of Swords. Again, he's got hardly any armour on, bit of on his shoulders, his face, carrying two swords. There's messages kind of tearing out behind him, so it's all lively and cathartic, and it's all happening. But that's in your kind of your gut feeling, and it's going out of the situation. The same with the Three of Wands. They're both kind of moving away from the weak. Three of Wands is all about, seeing a target and going for it, and it's kind of quite an enterprising card. So what this gannet is doing, it's going straight for the fish that it wants, but it's doing it so well. It's got 4 or 5 admirers following it and doing the same thing. So if this is a work reading, and I can't tell, and again, it's what resonates with you guys. It certainly doesn't look like a love reading, particularly other than the general feeling of the Empress down there. This is you doing something at work or doing something in a relationship that really inspires, and people go, yeah, that's a great idea, let's do that. And again, it leads to this sort of Ten of Pentacles, which is happy, stable family home, and it's that generational stability of, it was great at Granddad's house, it's great at Dad's house, and now it's great at my house, and it's something that's just gone on for years. So nice to see that as well. So far so good, with the exception of the 7 up there. And then he's come up again, that's the 3rd or 4th reading, King of Cups. Cool cat, he's got both cups, so that's conscious and subconscious. He's happy in both. Dreamy kind of energy, very laid back energy. You've got a squid and a school of fish in perfect harmony. They're not chasing each other, one's not eating the other. It's all about balance and that kind of, just chill. Really good. So that's where you kind of find yourself. That's the way you think the situation is next week. So quite mellow. So that's nice to see. Very Piscean as well, isn't it? Yeah, just realised. And then we've got the Knight. This is how other people see it, which is a bit more brash and courageous. Whereas this Knight has got 2 swords and he's leaping in. She's a bit more sort of, she's pushing a way in. So it's brave, courageous, but brash. And not in a bad way. I don't mean that as a brassy sort of brashness, but just ta-da, I'm here. We're going to do it this way and it's going to be great. 6 of Swords. And this one you can just about see down at the bottom there, hopefully. Little tiny boats. And that's basically about going from one situation to another. This is in your hopes and fears. So when we first look at the cards, you just see the dusty swords, then you realise these swords used to belong to giants, but they're completely useless now. They're cobwebbed and blunt, so they serve no purpose. And it's that kind of feeling. Your burdens now have got to the point where you're like, oh, what's the point? And you're sailing to past, to the new island, to the new destination, but you are taking your burdens with you. It's one of those cards that if you're unhappy and you win the lottery, you're just rich and unhappy, because until you get to the root of why you're unhappy, and it could be because you've got no money, but generally speaking, unhappy people who win the lottery tend to get rid of all the money and remain unhappy. It's just because it's a state of mind, isn't it? So I would look carefully at that card, and try and work out if you need to take those burdens with you, or be aware that if you go from one place to another, people might say, oh, I'm trying a new job, but if you're having the same issues at this job that you had at the last one, what's the common denominator? The common denominator is you. So maybe you have to look at yourself, and it's hard to do that. It's hard to kind of really internalize, kind of do that hermit mode where you look inside yourself and go, yeah, it is me. But we'll see. Yeah. Self-pity, sorrow, oh woe is me. Let's get rid of this card, Pisces. You're way better than that. In fact, I can't think of a sign that does deserve that. It's a terrible, terrible card. Again, in a Rider-Waite deck, it's 2 beggars walking past a stained glass window, clearly belonging to a church, and they can't, they can't even see the light sort of glowing or calling them. So it's a bit sort of, oh, I'm having a horrible time. It's like, really? Why don't you just knock on a door? They'll give you food and shoes and a bit of money to send you on your merry way. Not literally. So again, it's the self-pity card, so we need to get rid of that one. Energy on the bottom of the deck. Crucible, 8 of Swords. This is, there's a test. Nothing wrong with that. You pass the test. You're glowing white hot there. There's a sword behind you that's failing, that can't keep up. If this is in a relationship, you're the strong one. If this is at work, you're the strong one. So that's the energy off the bottom of the deck. And sat on top of the Empress as well. So that's really powerful. So let's if nothing else, let's concentrate on those 2. But let's see what we get on top of the Ace of Wands. Page of Swords. So you've got the Page and the Knight. Again, look at that. The sword sweeping up, cutting through the nonsense. Moment of clarity, vigour. Definitely getting stuff done, so that's good to see. So with the Ace of Wands, you've also got the Knight of Swords, so it's really like this is a new start. It's quite cathartic, but we're going to get through there. Yep. And then you've got the 5 of Wands on top of Temperance. So this is, I love this card. People are just crashing against you, the Gandalf staff as I call it, You know, sometimes it's the conflict card or a training card, but basically people are sort of crashing against you and not getting anywhere. It's a really powerful, strong card, so that's good to see in that position. Knight of Pentacles, she's been around a couple of times, but she's not in this reading yet. Strength and tenacity, the antlers, there's pentacles hanging from those, so she's kind of showing off her wares. Compared to this knight here, that's got hardly any armour on, she is really quite heavily armoured to the point of, you know, immobility. So the downside of this is it can lead to a little bit of stubbornness, but you've got this direct action and movement here, but there's still a little bit of stubbornness sat on top of it, so it maybe slows down that. But again, that's your recent past. In the near future, the Devil card, the Death card. So there's a change coming, there's a transformation, there's a stop to something next week. Could be this thing at the top, so let's find out. At the bottom, yeah, it's the Nine of Wands. No, it's the Eight of Wands, the Wounded Warrior. So, you know, this wolf is kind of cornered and growling. It's got blood on its belly, but, you know, I wouldn't take on a wolf in that situation. So it's about feeling a bit sort of ground down and wearisome about the situation, but you've got this. You know, you can just, yeah, I wouldn't take you on in this situation. Simple as that. And then the head of the matter, let's clarify this one. Much better. Yeah, insightful, driven, aware. So I think you're aware of this situation, and the king has got all the kind of power and tenacity that you need to offset that. So that's really good to see that on top. So I'm a lot happier with this now that it's done that. So yeah, I think it's a tough week. Don't get me wrong, it's a tough week, but don't get ground down with these last two cards here. That's the problem. Everything else is really powerful and strong, you know. So take that energy, Pisces, and particularly, you know, this is a very Piscean card. You know, it's got all this water and movement and the subconscious and conscious thing. You know, it's finding that balance between dreams and reality. So let's see what happens here. Yeah, okay. Great. If it was a romantic situation, it's brilliant. If it's a work situation, about really getting on with someone or really getting on with the system. So these two fish, these two angel fish, are jumping into each other's universes. The broken arrow at the top is an end to hostilities. So a really good card in that position. Right on top of the Knight of Wands, you've got the Star. Again, there's this theme running through here with these two cups where water's passing from one to the other. So the king, the cups have got, you know, it's supposed to be emotions in there, or the subconscious and the conscious. And again, she does the same thing. The Star card is about normally a woman that's pouring water on land and into a pool, and it's that kind of cyclical nature of tarot where it's both conscious and subconscious and finding the balance and harmony. So a really harmonious week if you let it. And we just need to kill these two cards. Yeah. Ace of Swords, it's a new start. So yeah, you are going to move on somewhere and you are going to take this baggage with you, but it is a new start. It's very definitely a new start. And then your final outcome, excellent. Two of Wands, much better. So you've got the two down here, which is the Two of Cups. This is all two peas in the pod and really getting on. This is the card of not entrepreneurship, I suppose, but basically, you know, in a more traditional reading, it's a man stood on a parapet. He's planted one wand in the ground. He's holding the other ready to plant, and he's holding the world in his hands, the whole world. And the idea on this card is, we're all down at the bottom, but you clever Pisces guys and gals have gone up to this place that no one else has seen yet. You're ahead of the curve. So once you get over that little bit of self-pity there, you're going to find yourself in a much, much better headspace. So yeah, I think there's an interesting week. There's a bit of a test. It's going to, you know, you're going to feel like it's going to wear you down, but you just knock it out of the park. You literally knock it out of the park. And you've got some great energy going through these, and these cards on the top have negated those two weak ones there. So yeah, really promising week. Do let me know how you get on in the comments, and I'll see you next Sunday for more of the same. Take care.